What is life without a bit of culture, a bit of history, a bit of art? So thank goodness for that repository of knowledge, the museum.
Of course, that's assuming it isn't full of murderers or thievery, or isn't just a terrible rip-off unlike some video game museums I could name.
Brace yourself for these museums so rubbish you should skip straight to the gift shop, maybe the cafe. Along the way, mind out for spoilers for the following games.
Guards, trespasser. That's close enough.
After you've trudged through the freezing, dragon-ravaged continent of Skyrim, a bit of museum culture sounds like a welcome respite. Sadly, there's not much edifying about Calixto's House of Curiosities. This massive building in Windhelm holds a staggeringly boring collection of embalming hardware, salts, and troll fat. Museum owner and borderline con artist Calixto charges 2 septims for tours of this single-room museum, whose star attractions are A, a book that allegedly tells your future but whose pages are blank, supposedly signifying imminent death, and B, a soup spoon that belonged to the legendary Ysgramor. Oh, it's a fork. Very good, Calixto. Now about those 2 septims, I'm going to need them back. As if this museum wasn't crappy enough, it is. A common glitch in the game can mean that the House of Curiosities is always locked, even after you've paid Calixto to give you the grand tour. You can pick the lock, however, and enjoy as many curiosities as possible in the 30 seconds before guards break in and murder you. Well, I am gonna murder you, Calixto, on TripAdvisor.
Little tip for travellers here, next time you're in Columbia, get off the beaten track and see if you can catch the 1 week only Francis Drake exhibition at the Maritime Museum. This museum makes a good first impression. There's a cannon outside, and then when you get to the first display room, there are more cannons there too, and a cannon on the 2nd floor. I'm not saying that a museum has to have cannons, but so far I'd give this one 2 cannons up. I mean, 2 thumb cannons. We're getting side cannons. Cannon tracked. Besides all the awesome artillery, this boutique museum also offers gorgeous relics lovingly presented and accurately labelled, all bathed in the gorgeous Columbian sunlight. So, what's the problem? In short, the other clientele. If it's not grubby teenage treasure hunters getting their sticky fingerprints all over the exhibits, it's more seasoned sneak thieves like Sully, sneakily sneaking keys into locks and generally attracting trouble. Oh my word, this museum is a magnet for drama. Visitors should stay well clear unless they want to get dragged into elaborate heists, like that of ruthless Brit Catherine Marlowe, whose thugs would feel no compunction about tracking you down and trashing expensive museum doors in the process.
Oh God.
At least stick a £5 in the donation box on your way out.
When you wake up after a nuclear apocalypse with a dead spouse and missing child, the first thing you want to know is where the nearest good museum is.
No? What? You're actually gonna look for Sean? Okay.
Even if it's not top of your to-do list, one of the first places you'll stumble into in Fallout 4 is the Museum of Freedom, home to exhibits showing the war-torn history of America and its fight for, freedom. It's seen better days, but hey, in 2077 it's free entry, if you just fight through a whole load of bandits outside and inside, and if you're willing to be in the same room as the super rude Marcy.
And we get a vault dweller? What are you going to do in that stupid jumpsuit? Bleed to death?
Yep, walls and floors may be collapsing around you, but there is still a fee to pay in the form of helping others get out, and in turn, signing yourself up to forever help Preston Garvey of the Minutemen.
I hope you don't mind, but I've got another favor to ask. I've had word from a settlement asking for help.
You're not even allowed to leave this murderous museum until you steal a fusion core from the basement, make your way up to the roof to the power armor, fight off the bandits outside, and then a deathclaw that's been lurking around underneath the town. Right next to the museum basement you were just in.
And yet I'm still more mad that you can't steal one of the Redcoat outfits off the mannequins. It would look so badass.
Hi, the crowd! Back to your host!
trip to New York wouldn't be complete without a visit to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And likewise, anyone playing GTA 4 must drop in on MoMA's virtual twin, the Libertonian. The only problem is the museum is permanently closed for renovations, even if you're playing at the height of tourist season. They didn't put this on their website. Seriously, GTA 4 came out over 8 years ago. What could they possibly be renovating in there? Well, you can find out, courtesy of a side door that's never locked. Nice one, security. Only had 8 years to get it right, but fine. Inside, things start to look up. There are some historic artifacts, some of which are all hidden from view, but to be fair, they are remodeling here. And cool, the main lobby is full of dinosaur fossils. Hey, I'd love to learn more about this species. Let's have a read of the plaque. This big bastard took a few weeks to knock up, and feast your eyes on this 21,000 poly maniac? T-Rex right up your arse? How do you like them apples? I'm thinking they don't get a lot of school trips through here.
Anything resembling a museum in Bioshock Infinite is usually stuffed full of twisted old-timey propaganda. So it's a bit of a relief to find nothing actively trying to kill you in the Columbian Archeological Society Museum of Bioshock Infinite DLC, Clash in the Clouds. There is one little problem though. Where are the exhibits? Honestly, this museum is a little on the empty side. I mean, what's supposed to go in this space here? Wait, what's that? You have to buy the exhibits, that's a bit rich. Okay, it might stroke your ego to unlock all these 3D models that chart your adventures, but who would pay for a model of Booker DeWitt? Your Booker DeWitt. You already have a museum to you, it's called your house. Might as well just put a velvet rope in front of a mirror. Actually, that sounds fun.
There seems to be a fine line between coincidence and irony.
Lara Croft has got to be a real museum snob, having seen plenty of actual ancient tombs in her time.
So when she pulls up to Professor Worth's King Arthur Museum, her and Team Lara are a bit sceptical about the whole thing.
There was some nonsense about the discovery of the real King Arthur's tomb here years ago, soon discredited, and yet another roadside attraction was born.
Built on a possible location of King Arthur's tomb, the museum has definitely seen better days.
Either housekeeping should be fired, or no one's been inside for months.
Visitors will have to avoid the puddles of rain leaking in from the roof, then do some gymnastics to go restart the power so you can pull out this sword from the stone to open the main door.
Enter, once and future king. Merlin deems you worthy.
Resetting all this for the next visitor is going to be a real nightmare.
Don't worry though, the tour continues when you simply acrobat your way to the next bit where you'll find animatronic reenactments of Arthur's life. Finally, some actual, museum stuff.
'Twas Merlin who did springeth Arthur to yon magical lake, wherein did dwell ye lady of the lake.
There's even a tomb, which Professor Worth's notes imply is merely a fake to distract treasure hunters from the real one nearby.
But Professor Worth believed the sarcophagus was placed here by Arthur's contemporaries to lure thieves from the gravesite of the actual King Arthur.
Who doesn't exist?
Well, Alistair, I think you might just be proved wrong when we use a handy-dandy forklift truck to break through a wall and jaunt down a secret death-filled passage.
You don't get that in the Smithsonian.
Narrowly avoid death and surf on coffins and you'll find the real tomb of King Arthur is nearby, as well as giant serpents who want to eat anything human-sized.
What? This is Tomb Raider?
In fact, hang on, the serpents and the tomb look like the ones in the museum gift shop. Like, a lot like the ones in the gift shop.
Did the museum know it was down there all along? Is there just some big conspiracy? Why are there no pencils in the gift shop for me to buy for my collection?
There was no one registered under the name of Khan, but the name in the book for room 22 was Merlin.
Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars is a 90s point-and-click adventure, which means it needs to be as confusing as possible. This includes having backgrounds so cluttered with bits and bobs that you're never quite sure what you're supposed to be pointing at and clicking on. And for this purpose, a museum is the ideal setting. On Hero George's adventures, he visits the Musée Crune in Paris to speak with history expert André Lobineau.
Pardon? Victims of what?
But this repository of artifacts definitely needs some upkeep. I mean, they have totem poles next to a sarcophagus. It's as dingy as it is dark, and we have to wonder if this grumpy curator is even actually French or just putting on this shocking accent.
Do you think if I studied art and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
He doesn't let you touch anything.
No, monsieur. No.
Or let any air in.
Attention! Please do not open the window, monsieur.
Or let you try to steal this 15th century tripod.
What? Get it out of the case? Ah, no!
What? I was just looking. You could always visit after hours, of course, though you might spot a few villains sneaking in to get up to no good. And if you decide to tell them to stop, do you get any thanks? No. Instead, you get a bad pun.
If that's a mommy, I'm glad I'm an orphan.
Then you get shot and fed to the fishes. Still better than a trip to the petting zoo, am I right, George? Worst day trip evs.
No, I said one velvet rope. What, only bulk orders? Okay, 10,000 is fine. Oh, sorry. Yeah, at the end of Modern Warfare 2, you're treated to a trip down memory lane. In this bonus museum level, you can wander around a classy gallery, checking out various tableaux depicting scenes from the game you just finished. And when you stroll on up to them, the characters even start moving. Wow, these animatronics are amazing. However, the information desk is suspiciously unmanned. Perhaps if I press this button that says, "Do not press." I mean, come on, it's only a button. What's the worst that could happen? Hello? Service? Maybe you were expecting one of those light-up panels that tells you about the wives of Henry VIII or something, but in fact this museum button causes all the exhibits to come to life and try to murder you. Even the dudes who are on your side are trying to shoot you to pieces. Guys, why? Did our struggles together mean nothing? And what did I ever do to this dog? Bad dog. He's just mad that he's not as well rendered as Riley. Who's not as well rendered as Riley? Who's not? Who's not?
So those are some museums in video games where we would just skip straight to the gift shop. But speaking of gift shops, actually, this is our virtual gift shop of lovely videos that you should go and watch and check out. Also, you should check out our friends over at Outside Xbox. You should comment, like, and subscribe. Fun fact, I do actually have a pencil collection. That wasn't a joke. And we'll see you next video. Bye!